Amy. Amy, okay. Amy.
Hello, everybody. Mayor, we got a minute.
Good evening, everyone.
Hello there.
Hello.
Hello.
It is 7 o'clock, and I'm assuming everybody is on. And I trust everybody had a wonderful, prosperous day. We want to start out. We want to call the meeting to order with roll call.
Okay. Alderwoman West,
Present.
Alderwoman Tapman, Alderwoman Reed, Alderman Carroll, Alderman Thomas is absent, Alderman Christian,
Here.
Alderwoman Dales. You're muted.
Present.
Alderwoman Avant Elliott.
Present.
Let me go back. Alderwoman Tapman, Alderwoman Reed, Alderman Carroll.
Here.
Was that Carol? Yes, I see you. Okay, Mayor, we have 2, 3, 4, 5 present and 3 absent
Okay.
at this point.
All
Oh,
right.
and then we have the mayor, the city attorney, the chief, myself, the city clerk, and I do not see Howard.
I thought you said he wasn't coming.
No, I didn't say that.
I thought,
Hi, Fran. This is Teresa Reed. I'm here.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Welcome, everyone. Can we have approval of the agenda?
Avant Elliott, I would like to make a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
Is there a second?
I'll second Alderwoman Reed.
Okay, thank you. Got it.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed is no. Okay. I heard you. Are there any nays? All righty. Then budget discussion.
Hi, Mayor. This is Alderwoman Reed.
Okay.
We had voted on certain lines to be changed last week.
Mhm.
And, okay. And it looks like the things that we voted on, not all of them have been changed in the budget. So I'm not sure why, but like the police budget was supposed to be changed to not include the increases to those officers. So the line 5202.1 was supposed to be 1,391,000 and 41 cents and $41.53, with the Prop P being equal to the Prop P revenue. And also moving those rec center salaries. He actually moved all of the salaries rather than just moving 60,000 of it to capital. So it still should have had 152,000 on 5502 and the applicable FICA, which is 7.65% of the salary. So with those being done, the bottom line for general would have been 24,909.67 positive. That's on the general fund.
You said
Alderwoman,
52 what?
That last line item,
52 what?
that was 5502, the line item.
502. Okay.
Yeah, that's rec center salaries.
Okay. Now, you said something about the police budget.
Yeah, their salary line is 5302. I'm sorry, not 53, sorry, hold on. Go back up a little bit more. 5202.1 and 0.2.
You want to chime in on that?
yes, sir. Okay, so if you look at line 52, total for 5201 salary, that number's correct. The loggers, the Medicare or FICA, and the overall salary is correct. What wasn't, it was this between the salaries and the wages coming from Prop P, which are in that spreadsheet I did send to Patrick. They just haven't been broken down accordingly, but the total for salaries is actually correct.
I don't know what spreadsheet then Chief Eiler is going off of, but like I mentioned in the meeting last week, he had increases for 5 officers that we all said if no one's getting raises or promotions, then no one would get them. So those were supposed to be removed, which will leave $1,391,041.53 on the salary line, and the Prop P would be the 407,775.25, which is a total of $1.798,816.78.
I took out the 2 positions and I removed all the merit raises. And this is what Patrick put out today. Mine is dated today at 2:33 p.m. I don't know how you're arriving at your numbers, but I can assure you that everything that was added in was taken out. These are the numbers from last year.
What's your total?
If you look at total 5201 salary, it should be 2.204,923.01. That should be your total.
2 million, you said?
Correct.
No.
That's for salaries, FICA, and loggers.
Oh, no, I'm not looking at all that. I'm talking about just the salary lines of 5202.1 and 5202.2.
Okay, so
What-
those
Yeah,
those aren't calculated right. So the actual salary line should be 1,807,492.40.
Right, and the number included those 5 officers with promotions in it.
No. That's
I mean, and we can go one by one on those because I looked at your budget I still have your budget from last year and I have your budget from this year. So those 5 people went up. I mean, you submitted your budget to him and we went over the 5 people last week.
So if you look at my spreadsheet that I sent out earlier, you'll see on the left-hand side of my spreadsheet, the one I created for my draft budget, the 2019-2020 fiscal year that we're in right now, that is the same as what I sent Patrick for this upcoming year. The exact same numbers. Now that's not broken down to the Prop P level. About 25% of those monies, and that's just ballparking, actually come from Prop P.
At the end of the day, Mayor, we all voted for those people to not have increases. And it's Officer Johnson, Officer D. Sanders, Shack, Wills, and there was actually an increase for Cassidy, which is the evidence support coordinator, then differently than what he was being paid last year. And Dunn's went down only because he was overpaid all this year, $820.
Well, he wasn't overpaid. That was just my draft budget had an error in it. But no one under this model, no one's receiving a raise of any kind, whether it's cost of living or merit. And the 2 vacancies we have within the department are staying vacant. They're not even calculated into that number.
Because you already got 3 brand new officers, Pendino, Meyer, and Calia Brea. I can't say the name, but those are your last 3 officers that was hired.
Correct.
Along with your administrative assistant that was hired on a step 3 rather than a step 1, which I didn't even bring that up. And as mentioned before, the attorney said those things supposed to come to the board, but she was hired on a step above than just a 1 step.
So I explained to the board, and this has been quite some time, I use a matrix for people who start higher than step 1. And it has to do with years of service, and it also has to do with experience within the job. A step 1 pay would be for somebody that's brand new. But I don't pay anybody over step 3. That's as I go.
And that's something
And that's a conversation I had with the board probably about 2 years ago at least. And I remember Dr. May asking that question. And when I explained it, I received no feedback beyond what I explained, because I create a fair system for everybody that we hire.
A fair system, but our ordinances dictate that those type of things supposed to come to the board for approval. That was the reason for us, the prior boards, there's always a different board. So that's the reason for the prior boards to have created these steps, is so that there wasn't a lot of extra things put into hiring a person. This is a step. This is where you go when you first get in. This is the next step after 12 months. This is where you go. So it's pretty much laid out with no confusion. That was the point in that. So if you're going to deviate from that, that's supposed to come to the board. The board meaning the elected officials. I understand maybe you were giving that autonomy before from a previous administration. I don't know, but our ordinances are written that that's supposed to come to us. I can't speak from prior administrations.
I'll have to read a little bit further into that, but just so everybody understands, just like I cannot fire somebody, I cannot hire somebody. I can only recommend. And the recommendation for anything that I give has to meet with the mayor's approval. That includes pay.
Okay, I don't want to prolong it. So, if there is something I need to do with the treasurer to let him know who these officers are, what scales and salaries they supposed to be on, and that's the amount for the salaries, Mayor, I can do that. I can send that to you. I can let you see what what the current budget was today, and what they were being paid on, and where they're going now, and who changed. It's a simple VLOOKUP that you do in Excel to tie these things back. So I don't want to prolong that line, but that is over budgeted at this time. And if we as a board say no one gets any you said initially that you didn't want anybody to get promotions or raises or whatever, that meant everybody. There wasn't any exception to that.
I'm sorry, this is Alderwoman Tatman. I did want to announce that I logged on at 7:06 p.m.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So that was the general fund, Mayor, and under the capital fund, I don't know. We have voted for him to just move 60,000 of the rest of the salary to capital improvement. Initially, there was 130,000 on line 5321. So 130,000 plus 60,000 is 190,000. Today, he has 280 there. That's not what's supposed to have been there. And with the, again, applicable FICA, which is 7.65 based on the salaries, which would be 14,535. And that would bring our capital improvement fund down to a negative 67,371. And if you see from the report he sent out today, there's a positive $150,000 for this current budget year of unencumbered funds. And that would explain away the 67,000 negative budget that we have there, and more than covers the negative.
I'm sorry, is our Treasurer Howard on the line?
He stated last week that he was unavailable when we were on the call.
I'm sorry.
He stated that last week when we were on the call.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that he was going to be unavailable, but he would send out the report, and he sent it out. Well, initially, he sent it this morning, and then there was another revision later on this afternoon.
Yeah, because I had questions on those revisions, and I think at this time, because one of my questions was, why we're removing salary from the general fund into capital improvement, and if that was a reliable way to do that as far as auditing purposes. And he responded, and he didn't, I don't know what happened. I don't know if something happened, because that was one of my questions. And he did say that he spoke with the auditors, and if the budget is allowed for audit purpose, as long as there are job descriptions that justify it, but that reduced the risk of an audit finding. However, per his note with the auditors, is an audit risk. and the board approved it without regard to this risk. So that's why I was hoping he would be on, because I had a question about why we were moving those salaries from the general into capital improvements, and if that was allowable under audited, general audited purposes for municipal auditing.
I mean, only from me looking at this budget for, you know, the last 3 budgets, that you can see that the salaries for people that work on capital items throughout the city are allowable expenses against capital funds. So that's why the rec center's salaries have always been, you know, a lot of their salaries have been allocated there, and the street department. So the rec center is a capital, you know, entity, a brick and mortar entity that belongs to the city, and they work on that. Our parks that the rec centers work on, our pools, all of those salaries are allowable against capital improvement. And the street department, by them working on the streets, that's an allowable expense against capital. So people like, you know, admins, secretaries, they're not doing any work for, you know, capital things throughout the city, you know, nothing with the infrastructure of the city. So we can't like move admin people over there, if that makes sense to you. But I mean.
No, it does. I just had a question to him.
Yeah.
Because we've had, you know, some audit challenges, if that would be approved, is that an allowable move? And he was saying that it was an audit risk, and I had asked him to explain that more. So I don't know what happened. I didn't get an explanation back for that, because he said, according to, and I'll share this message with everybody, that it was an audit risk. So I wanted him to explain what he meant by that.
That's interesting.
But he's not here.
Yeah, because then you should have our auditing books for the last, like, I mean, I have them for the last 3 or 4 years, and that has never been one of our things that we're cited on from our auditor. You know, in the back, she lists out the things that are issues for us as a city and should be considered. For
and the work
improvement. Yeah, and that has never been listed there.
Okay.
Anyone else want to speak on the budget?
I had one last thing too, Mayor. On the street bond, we had also motioned to have the salaries from the street department, that $47,000 that's in general fund. Why don't I have that line item right now? It's the salaries on the street department and the applicable FICA that was supposed to be moved over to the street bond. And like Alderwoman Tatman was just asking, that street bond was approved for street repairs throughout the city. And those are allowable expenses to be booked against the street bond. And it's only it's like $50,000 total. Our salaries for that department is much more than that. So that's approximately our foreman salary, just to give you, you know, to compare. So that we voted on, and it was not moved there.
You voted to do what to the street salary?
So on the general fund, there are salary line items for the street department. And those numbers are 5302 salary and 5303, which is the applicable FICA for the salaries. And it was 47,343 of salary and 3,621.74 cents, which is 7.65% of the salary for FICA that should have been set up against the street bond fund.
Okay, well, I mean, I can address that. I'll need Howard here to address that, to see what was up with that. I don't know.
Mayor,
Yes, please.
I just wanted to let you know, I emailed you and the entire board the exact same document that I sent to Patrick today for
I got it.
for his numbers concerning the police salaries.
Okay.
So there's no changes. Yeah.
Yeah, so when you look at the spreadsheet, budget summary A,
Mhm.
with tab 5200A, and then you see budget
Right.
summary B, and then 5200B. The A portion of that is no raises, no vacancies filled. Each
Right.
column is exactly the same. The B portions are with the merit raises for those who are eligible and filling those two vacancies. I just wanted to show everybody the difference between the two.
Right.
Any further comments?
Mayor,
Yes, please.
would you be willing to accept Alderwoman Reed as our representative to assist with the corrections? Because I believe that we pretty much passed the things that we wanted changed, and we were trying to get a bottom line, but there are mere errors that is the concern. So is it something you're willing to allow her to assist you with, if she's willing to do it, so then it can be done? So it will be equivalent to us making a motion on minutes that's wrong, and then Fran has to correct the minutes. Right now, we've made motions on things to be corrected. There's still some errors. So before it would be posted in our code book online for the public, then someone would need to try to assist with facilitating what was voted on last week, along with any of the other errors that's along the way. So is that something that you'll be willing to accept as a way for us to move forward?
No,
Or do you want him to try to make all the changes himself and give it back to the board?
I want him to make a change himself and then come back to the board.
So, but are you gonna be able to tell him those changes that need to happen? Because it's several that she's indicating based on calculations. So it's calculation errors at this point, not things that we won't change. Is more so of calculations.
Well, why don't you email those changes that you're referring to?
Well, that was the reason we had the meeting last week, and we went line by line and made motions, and I made sure that he wrote them down while we were going through them. So none of these things are different than what we already approved last week, but he just didn't do them. So I've sent stuff to him before and he won't do it. So it's kind of a waste of my time. It's a waste of kind of all of our times if we motioned for it last week and it passed, and then today it's not done. So, I mean, if I'm not going to interact with him to have it done, I think it's a waste of my time to keep typing the same thing over and over and it doesn't get done.
Well, I'm going to wait on the treasurer and let him handle that. You're welcome to call him, whatever you wish to do. But that's where I am. That's why he's there. So we can table this until whenever we can get together, whether it be tomorrow, the next day, whatever.
Do you even have his availability? Because last week, he just said he wasn't available today. And
Perhaps he's available tomorrow. But, you know, some of these meetings are a waste of everybody's time.
that's exactly what I was saying, because we had the meeting last week for him to make those changes, but he didn't. And he sent 2 copies of 2 sets of different changes just on today, and they still weren't the changes that we voted on. So
Mhm.
that's kind of, yeah, that made today wasteful because we would have had real numbers today.
Well, I think we need to table this until we can get it all to your satisfaction.
This is Alderwoman West. I just have a brief comment. Mayor, you are supposed to be in charge of preparing the budget, not Patrick. He's just the treasurer. So you should be able to decide on what changes need to be made. And that's all I got to say.
I don't, you know, the treasurer don't need to be there if I've got to make the decision. Why is he there? I don't have the same credentials that he had when it comes to budgets and finances. So that's why he was hired, and I'm gonna let him do what he was hired to do. So if we end it here, then then I move that we should table the meeting until,
Alderwoman West again, Mayor, you are not allowed to make a motion.
I didn't make a motion. I just said I move to table it. Someone else can chime in and,
Well, when you move, then that's making the motion.
well,
I would like, this is Alderwoman Tapman, I would like to make a motion that we table the present budget until we can have the treasurer present, where he and the mayor can work on the corrections that.
This Alderwoman Dales, and I will second that.
as all in favor, say aye.
I thought you was on the
Aye.
question.
Well, what other questions, my dear?
Okay, so all we have to do at this point is he just needs to make the changes after the meeting. So we already have made the changes, they're just not done. So it's equivalent to us getting minutes that we vote on, and then corrections have to be made after we amend it. So if there is time that you just work to get it done with Alderwoman Reed assistance with her finance background, then that part is done and we can move on with voting for the budget itself, because he has made some changes. There's just other changes that haven't been made. So it's no different than last week. Last week you had me to make a motion without there being any changes made. But in order to see the bottom line, that's why we were meeting today. So if people are fine with not seeing a complete bottom line, knowing based on Alderwoman's Reed calculations or somebody else's calculations what that bottom line is, we can move forward and be done. So that's my statement around that.
Well,
Mayor?
yes.
Yes, I would like to say, like me, that of this magnitude, that it's important that we see that document to make sure it's clean before we make a vote. I do not feel comfortable with making a vote on a document with seeing a bottom line.
Okay.
The line items are corrected.
Any further discussion?
Yes, my last statement is we voted on the first read without seeing the bottom line last Thursday, so.
and we tabled it until we thought we were going to get a clean.
I call for a point of order. This is Alderwoman West. The mayor asked if there were any more questions. It's been a motion. There's been a second. So rather than go back and forth, I think we need to go on and make a vote.
I can't hear that statement somebody just made.
This is Alderwoman West.
I got
I
yours.
called for, I'm sorry?
I have your statement.
Okay.
I thought somebody else said something. All right, then, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
And
And that's tabling the budget for tonight. Now, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I,
Opposers?
Opposed?
Opposed?
The roll call, please.
Roll call.
Alderman Christian,
This is the table, correct?
this is to table, yes.
Mhm.
Did you say yes?
Correct, yeah.
Okay. Alderwoman West,
Yes.
Alderwoman Tatman,
Yes.
Alderwoman Carroll,
Alderman,
Alderman Carroll.
Oh.
Alderwoman Avant,
no. Hold on.
Alderwoman Reed,
No.
Hold on.
Hmm?
Carol, he said he couldn't get his mic to work. Yes, can you?
yes,
Okay, she can hear you. Go ahead.
okay. Who did I miss now? Let me see.
when you miss me and I say yes, that would be
I'm
4
sorry,
and 3.
I'm sorry, Dales, what do you say?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, Mayor, you have 1, 2, 3 no's, 1, 2, 3, 4 yes, and 1 absent.
All righty, then we will table it and I'll give it Patrick. Alderwoman Reed is welcome to call him and they can work together to hammer that budget out. And we'll present it at another time, soon, but at another time.
Mayor, this is Dorothy.
This is
We
who?
do have a meeting coming up Thursday.
Right, absolutely, we do. We have a regular board meeting Thursday. That's correct. Thank you for that. And we can pass the, do whatever with the budget then. All right. So at this time, we'll move to public comment. Anyone from the public who would like to comment tonight? And if no one, if there's no public comment, then we'll move to bill number 2578. Alderwoman West.
I'm not sure if I have to continue or not since I did the amendment to the motion last time. City Attorney.
Yeah, that would be
correct.
That would be preferable.
Okay. So I would like to make a motion that we table, let me see, what is the bill? So I can make sure I get it right. Bill number 2587 to Thursday, general board meeting.
Is there a second?
Alderwoman West, second.
All right, are there any further discussions?
I have one, Mayor. This is Alderwoman Reed.
Mhm.
I wanted to, on the budget, I wanted to interject to have a motion to include the salary for a city administrator at $34,000 out of general fund, which includes $14,000 that's already an ordinance to lower the mayor's salary, and $30,000 out of capital, and $20,000 out of sewer. and 20,000 out of the street fund. And that we would post the job on July 1 through August 31st. And it should be posted and advertised on all of our normal media, like in the mail, the paper, wherever we put this normally. And that's my motion.
I'm sorry.
Alderwoman West, our second.
Just a moment for your second. I did not hear clearly, and I really don't know what she said or what it means.
Want me to say it again?
Wait, what?
Can you hear
Oh,
me?
let me rescind mine so then she can make hers first, and then I'll just be tabling the bill number. I would like to make a motion to rescind my motion for tabling the bill number 2587.
I don't think you can do that. We have a motion on the floor with
Yeah, I can rescind it. I'm just rescinding it because she's interjecting a motion that's related to the budget. And so I was just rescinding so that can be done, and then I can make another motion to table it.
And whoever made the second would have to accept that as well.
I'm not sure. This is Alderwoman West. Fran, did I second that motion?
I gotta go back to it. Let me see. Table to rescind motion. Yeah, table budget to. I don't know who seconded that. Oh, you second, yes, I'm sorry. You second the motion number 4, the bill number that Avant Elliott read. Yes, you did.
Okay, then I second Avant Elliott's motion to rescind.
In other words, you're rescinding your second,
He's withdrawing.
withdrawing. Okay.
Okay, Alderwoman Reed.
And I wanted to make a motion to have included in our budget for 2021 the salary for a city administrator. And there would be $34,000 out of general fund, 14 which is included already by ordinance, and 30,000 from capital, 20,000 from sewer, and 20,000 from the street bond. And that we would post a job on July 1, 2020 through August 31st, 2020 on all of our normal job posting places, MML, the paper, etc.
Okay, I'm sorry, I need to ask you. You said from July 1, 2020 to August what?
31st.
31st, okay.
I need, attorney, I need some clarity on this, whether or not this motion is legal.
Why wouldn't we?
I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to the attorney, please.
Alderwoman Reed is making a motion, I'm assuming. Is that correct?
Yes, attorney.
What she just stated was a motion?
Yeah.
All right. Then with a second, it would be appropriate.
That was Alderwoman West.
Do you need me to repeat it?
No, I'm good.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So, any further discussion on the motion?
Yes, sir. This is Alderwoman Dales. I just want to clarify that Alderwoman Teresa Reed wants to take $20,000 from the sewer from the citizens, that she wants to take $30,000 from capital from the citizens, $14,000, which she says is already there, and $34,000 from the general fund when we have a hiring freeze. And she want to take these items from the citizens of Bellefonte Neighbors. And I just want that clarified on the record, that she wants to take these items from
This
serving
is
the
Alderwoman
citizens.
West, and I'm calling for a point of order again.
No,
There is a
ma'am. No, ma'am.
question, not a
I have a
begging or a
question. I
statement.
have a
A
question on the
point of
floor.
order.
I have a
Ask your
question on the floor, and I want to
Then you-
clarify that these
Your
these
question.
items want to be taken away from the citizens of Bellefonte Neighbors on an appointment that can only be made by the mayor.
Attorney, Alderwoman West has made a point of order. I believe it's up to the mayor to rule on her point.
Well,
Yes.
right.
I agree, Alderman Carroll.
I agree
Thank
too.
you.
And I'm ruling against the point of order because the Alderwoman Dales has a right to make her point.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to clarify, and I want to put in writing that these items want to be taken away from the citizens of Bellefonte Neighbors to hire a city administrator when we have a hiring freeze, when we're in a pandemic,
This is Alderwoman West.
and that is something that I want put in writing, and that's my
Mayor.
statement. That is
I
my
am
statement, and I
telling
want
you,
to
Mayor,
put in
because-
writing.
You're supposed to make a question, not make a plea bargain.
You should have questioned the other ones.
Bring it
That's
back
my
to
question.
study
Mayor,
your
I
rules
want to put
order,
it,
babe.
Mayor, my question is, I want it put in writing, and it wasn't questioned when the other statements were made.
Okay, so you have the right to make your statement, and no one, we haven't stopped anybody else from making statements. We're not going to stop you from making them. All right?
Mayor,
Yes.
Mayor, may I? This is Alderwoman Tapman.
Proceed.
I have a point of clarification and a question. From my recollection, and I may be wrong because I was gone for 63 days, that we have we voted, number one, my first question, to add the city administrator to our budget as a position? I know we voted on the salary scale, but did we vote on to activate that position? My next question is point of clarification that we said that there would be a hiring freeze and salary freeze. And my next question was, according to our ordinance, I believe as the budget director, that you're the only one who can make those type of unilateral moves. So I want point of clarification and questions on those three items.
Attorney Coleman, would you help me with those, with the answer to that, please?
I'm sorry, Alderwoman Tapman. Could you repeat your question?
Yes, the first was, we have not voted to have that position of city administrator. We did vote, and I just want point of clarification because I was gone. I do remember us voting on the salary scale. And then according to our ordinance, it is the city administrator is appointment by the mayor. And the third was, as the budgeting director and the treasurer are the only two persons, according to our ordinance, that can make unilateral moves as far as moving monies from one account to another. That's not the responsibility of the Board of Alderpersons.
That is correct. Your assessment, as stated. The question, was there amount set aside in the budget for the city administrator?
No.
I know there was an ordinance passed, but was there an amount set aside in the budget?
No, it was not.
That's what we doing now.
City attorney, this is Alderwoman Reed. That was clearly the motion I just made, was to set aside the funds and to hire. So no, it was not in our previous budget. No, We did not vote on it. That's what this motion is. I
I'm
can't
sorry, Alderwoman Reed. I cannot understand you.
I'm sorry. Well, no, it was never in our budget, in our 1920 budget. That's what this motion was. That was what the motion I just made stated, to set aside the funds to hire. So yes, what she's saying is true. Alderwoman Chapman, no, it was not in the budget before. And yes, that's what the motion was doing, was setting aside the funds. Was funds being moved from one budget to another? The treasurer nor the mayor is allowed to move funds from one budget to another, because how the funds are set up are dictated by the state and how the funds are collected. Now she's asking on how the funds can be spent. They can be spent as such, is how I motion. They're not being moved between funds. You can't do that.
And so, point of clarification again, that's why I wanted to clarify. Your motion was to move certain amounts of monies from other line items. And my point of clarification is, as the budget director, the mayor and the treasurer are the only ones that could make those unilateral moves. That's not the responsibility of the board of alderpersons. So that's what I want a point of clarification on.
Well, I tried to clear that up, that they cannot, because law dictates how those funds, how they have to be appropriated in what funds. So no, I am not moving funds amongst different funds. You know, sewer is a fund that's, I mean, if you want to have a lesson on how these funds are captured and how they can be spent, that may be another conversation, but
no,
you can.
It's not a lesson. I'm just stating our ordinance. I don't need a lesson. I'm very versed in that.
Well, I thought you were asking a question about it.
I was. My question was, per our ordinance, as the budget director and the treasurer are the ones who can make decisions on monies being moved or how those monies are spent from each one of those line items. That is not the responsibility, according to our ordinance, of the board of alderpersons. So I was asking the question to get that clarification of the ordinance that's clearly printed.
Mayor,
Yes.
okay, so I posted the ordinance last board meeting that indicates that during the budget process, that the board has the authority to add or take away, amend the budget. So that's the part that we're on. That's why we were able to add and remove things from the police department and other line items. This is the same process that's being taken place as last Thursday, and that's a part of the ordinance around the budget process that speaks to what the alderman can do. When we do what we do, then the mayor implements those ordinances after that process.
But it clearly states, thank you, Alderwoman Elliott, but it also clearly states that the position of the city administrator is an appointment by the mayor.
I don't think that's the argument. We trying to, he's gonna have to appoint, but he's gonna have to appoint within the time. He's gonna have to hire and do a selection process like everything else. So we're not on that implementation side. We're setting up based on what she's motioning.
Well, what?
And her motion.
No, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Mayor, go ahead.
It is the mayor and the treasurer's job to, when it comes to hiring people, to move funds around, and the board can approve or reject. The board cannot arbitrarily say, we're gonna move this, that, and then we're gonna approve it. And the mayor has no say-so whatsoever. So what you guys are doing is absolutely out of order. You don't have that kind of authority. You have
No, sir.
but you don't have power
You're out of order.
what you're gonna vote on.
There's a motion on the floor. It has been seconded. It has been questioned to pieces and statemented to pieces. And now I think a vote is in order.
Well, I think until there's a clear point of clarification that it should be like any other item. And another question I have, we have tabled the budget until we get a clear bottom line. And
Okay, so let me
put
give
in-
you a lesson
We
then
put
as
in
well.
a hiring
So
freeze
what you do, Dinah,
and a raise
Vote the motion-
freeze, and
motion
then
down.
we added,
we can keep
and
Now, a point of
May
order.
and we added a
Alderman
position.
Christian speak for a moment?
I beg your pardon?
I'm sorry?
May Alderman Christian say something for a moment?
You can, but
Yes,
you
sir.
cannot when someone else is already talking.
Well, I just want to get in there so I don't have to say it now. I just want to get in line.
I yield. Alderwoman West yield.
I do too.
I would
I
recognize.
do too.
Go ahead.
Okay, to clear up the thing about the budget part that everyone is talking about, Section 2-245, the Board of Section 2-245, subsection E, the Board of Aldermen may revise, alter, increase, or decrease the items contained in the proposed budget, provided that no event shall total the authorized expenditures from any fund to exceed the estimated revenues. So as long as we don't go over the estimated revenues, it's okay.
Thank you. That's the same one I read.
Okay. And so in order to make sure that that is correct, that in terms of the funding, then we need the treasurer here.
It's a motion on the floor.
Then we had a motion on the floor a minute ago and it meant nothing.
Alderman Christian calls the question.
I beg your pardon?
Alderman Christian calls the question.
What's the question?
That means we go right to a roll call vote if I call the question.
Don't even know.
All right, roll call vote.
Okay, so I can put this in the right spot. What is this roll call for? What's the motion?
Alderwoman Reed's motion.
The one to transfer the funds for the salary for the
There
city?
was- sorry, city clerk. I
Yes.
never stated the words transfer.
Okay,
I
Tell me.
never stated that.
okay, tell me your motion so I'll put it right.
So for the, I don't know how many times, it's a motion to establish the salaries for a city administrator.
Establish salary for city. Okay, I got that.
Okay? So
Okay.
there's 34,000 coming
Right,
out of
yeah.
general fund,
Mm-hmm.
which 14 of that is already allocated per ordinance. 30,000 from capital. 20,000 from sewer. 20,000 from street bond.
Okay.
And the last portion of it was to post it on July 1 through
Got it.
August 31st. I thought you had that.
Yeah, I do. I got all of that. I just
Oh,
used
okay.
the word transfer instead of establish. My problem. My bad. I'm sorry. But I would have heard it again on the tape anyway. So I'm getting ready to call the roll. Alderwoman Tapman,
No.
Alderwoman Reed,
Yes.
Alderman Carroll,
Yes.
Alderwoman Avant Elliott,
Yes.
Alderwoman Dales. Alderwoman Dales. You're muted. Okay.
No.
Okay. Alderman Christian,
Yes.
Alderwoman West.
Yes.
Okay. You have 2 noes, 1 absent, and 5 yes, Mayor.
All righty, that ends the agenda.
Mayor, I can go on with my motion now to table the bill number. That's why I allowed for that to be done so it wouldn't be confusing. So I make a motion to table bill number, what is it,
2587.
2587 until Thursday's general board meeting with all the necessary amendments included.
Carol seconds.
Any further discussion? call. Roll call, please.
Okay, Alderwoman Reed,
Yes.
Alderman Christian,
Yes.
Alderman Carroll,
Yes.
Alderwoman Tatman,
Yes.
Alderwoman Avant Elliott,
Yes.
Alderwoman West,
Yes.
Alderwoman Dales.
Yes.
Oh, yes, Mayor.
All right. So that ends the agenda.
Does it have the close?
Is there a motion to adjourn this meeting?
I think we had, did we have a closed session on there again? I think we supposed to be following up. Was it on the agenda?
No, we do not have closed session on the agenda.
I thought there
Okay.
was public comment.
He moved it up. It wasn't anybody that had a
Oh,
public.
okay.
Do we have any public want to comment?
Yes, sir. I could not unmute. I could not unmute my phone. I was trying really hard. First of all, what I just witnessed does not represent the people.
Try to give a damn what
I hope she hung up. What I just witnessed does not represent the people. Okay. This is something that a coup that you guys have decided to do. I don't know all the legalities of everything I just witnessed, but number one, we don't have a bottom line to what the budget the numbers actually look like, whether we're in a positive or a negative or any of those things. When you pinch off of different funds like that for the year, how do you plan to cover this expense for the next year and the next year and the next year? Especially we're in a pandemic. I hope that whatever it is that you guys are trying to do, that the public will be vocal and outraged as I am. And regarding the police department, many of you weren't on the board. Many of you weren't even attending meetings when Bellefontaine Police starting salary was $37,000 a year. That was only a few years ago. I remember it clearly because I remember saying I would not ride in the back seat of a police car for $37,000 a year. So when Prop P funds became available, yes, they became assigned to salary, much to the previous administration's disapproval, but that's what it was for. And even as such, Bellefontaine Neighbors police officers still are at the bottom of starting salaries of many of the municipalities in North County. So it's more than dollars and cents that you guys are looking at. I know you don't care. And that's the way I feel as a citizen. I know you don't care, but we have 2 more years to have to deal with this because I think that the board needs to be more in tune to what citizens have to say and what citizens think about it. And nobody is taking that into consideration. Thank you, Mayor.
Welcome. Anyone else?
Mayor, we do have closed session on this agenda.
Anyone else from the public who would like to speak? Then closed session was not supposed to be on the agenda. I beg your pardon?
But we didn't amend it.
Yeah, we didn't amend it, and we spoke about having it as a continuation from the last meeting.
Well, closed session, did not approve closed session being on this budget, on this agenda. And so that therefore, I'm asking for adjournment.
Oh, so that's Mayor. So if we were going to amend, that's what we would have done at the beginning. But we had a concern that we needed to work out today based on the last meeting.
Yeah,
So
well,
that's why it was included on it.
well, I specifically said to the city clerk that we will not have a closed session. And yet closed session is on here. I am saying we are not having a closed session and I need a motion to adjourn.
I would like to make a motion for a closed session for section 610.021 -1 and -2, based on the agenda.
Alderwoman Reed seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposers, nay.
No. No, Alderwoman Dales.
All right, we're going closed session.
All right, we just have to log off and log back in to the other one.
Fran, did you already send that information?
Did I do what now?
Did you send that information to us?
Well, yeah, just like the other one, it's at the bottom of that.
Okay, okay, thank you.
All right.